guys, it's me Jocelyn. So today I'm going to be showing you some baddie or some badass transitions on alight motion. So let's just get started. Also, all these transitions I just previously made in my recent video start edit. So if you want to go check that out, go ahead and check that out. But yeah, so these are all transitions that I just previously made that I thought you guys would enjoy to see on here. So first things first, we're going to do a 3-panel slide. As you can see, they're all sliding. So what you want to do is you want to have your first clip, and then you want to add on 2 other clips right here. Ignore these right here. I will get to those in a second. So what you want to do after you have your first clip done, zoomed out or whatever transition you were doing on that, you want to go to the very last frame of it, hit this little share button up here, hit current frame as PNG, and then hit export. Go ahead and save that. Now import it right when your second clip begins. So just add that on right there. And I'm going to adjust it to the duration of my second clip. Now what you want to do is hit this little eyeball on your second clip right here and just turn it off, just like this. So now go to your first frame, or the frame that you saved, go to the very end and add a keyframe. Now go to the very beginning of it and add another keyframe. Now go to the keyframe that you added first, which is the last keyframe, and slide that all the way over there, here, just like this. So now I'm going to go ahead and use this graph right here. You are free to copy it if you want. So now I'm going to undo the little eyeball on my second clip. So I'm going to go ahead and do the exact same thing I just did for that clip. So I'm going to add 2 keyframes, one at the beginning and one at the end. And on the second keyframe, I'm going to move it so this photo is zooming in. Make sure that your clip is zoomed out all the way to the right before you do this, kind of like this. You don't want it to be too far zoomed out, otherwise it might not match up with the first clip. And make sure you add the exact same graph onto that. It doesn't have to be my graph, but it has to be the exact same graph of whatever you used for the bottom clip. So this is what it should look like when you're done doing that. I also added on exposure and motion blur to all these clips except the PNGs, just to give them a little bit of a flash. You can't really see it because she's already kind of glowing in this scene, but you know what I mean. And then just do the exact same thing with your second clip, or your third clip. Go to the very last frame of your second clip, go to share, hit current frame as PNG, save that, then add it in underneath your third clip, right where it begins. I'm going to go ahead and just adjust it real quick, just like this, and then you're just going to do the exact same thing. So hit the eyeball on your third clip, go under your second PNG, add 2 keyframes, one at the beginning and one at the end, and on the second keyframe, slide it over to the left all the way, kind of like this. And then I'm just going to go ahead and paste down that exact same graph. And then make sure you slide in your third clip from the right on the first keyframe, and then have it set on the second one, and use that exact same graph. And this is what it should end up looking like once you're done with this transition. But there is a part 2 to this transition. So what you want to do is after you have that done, go on to just a new project. Make a new project with only this clip. Now what you want to do is you want to find wipe in the search category. So just type in and add wipe. Add that on. So now what you want to do is you want to angle it to 90 degrees. After you angled it to 90 degrees, what you want to do is you want to go to start, add a keyframe at the very beginning, go right into the dab middle of your clip, add another keyframe for start, and turn it to 3.7%. And then go to the very last frame of your little transition you just made, add another keyframe for start, and make it 0. And you want to do the exact same thing with end. You want to add a keyframe for end at 100% at the very beginning, go dab in the middle of your transition, add another keyframe for end, turn it to 96, and then just turn it back to 100% on the very last keyframe. I did not add any graphs for these. Also, sorry if my voice sounds kind of raspy, I just woke up. And this is what it should look like. It's kind of like the borders are kind of closing in on this. Yeah, that's it for the first transition. The second transition is going to be an edge zoom in. So what you want to do is tap on your clip. First off, make sure you have tiles and motion blur on both your clips. So what you want to do is go to move and transform, and then tap on this right here, all these arrows, and that will move you to your anchor point or your pivot point, whatever you like to call it. So go ahead and just slide that up to here. Now, if for some reason this doesn't pop up and your whole clip is moving, it's because you haven't tapped on this, so make sure you tap on it to get this little pivot point, like pad or whatever. Make sure just to move that right up to here, to about the top. Then go to your zoom in panel, and just make a simple zoom in. Add 2 keyframes, one at the beginning and one at the end, and zoom it in as much as you please. I'm going to add a fast graph just like this, just so it kind of zooms in fast. And as you can see, it's zooming into the top of her forehead, so the top edge corner. And then you just want to do the exact same thing with the second clip. I added on exposure for a little bit of a flash here, so you guys are welcome to do that if you want. So just go to move and transform, tap on all these arrows, and then move the little anchor point or pivot point all the way up here. Now just do an out, like the zoom out part. So add 2 keyframes, one at the beginning and one at the end. And on the first keyframe, just zoom your clip out like this. Now make sure you have tiles enabled, otherwise this will look wacky. And then just do a simple outgraph, just like this, and it should end up looking like this when you're done. Just an edge zoom in. Now mine's a little bit laggy right now, but it will look a lot smoother if you save it in 60 frames per second. And yeah, this is transition number 2. For the third transition, it is a flip zoom out. So what you want to do is go to the very last frame of your first clip, go up here to the save panel and hit save current frame as PNG. Go ahead, save it, and then add it on top of your second clip. So what you want to do is just go ahead and add it and move it underneath your second clip. Now I'm just going to go ahead and adjust it to the duration of my second clip. So now for my second clip, what I did is I added on an opacity fade, which we'll get to at the very end. I added on flip layer. I keyframed angle to -306 at the beginning, and I keyframed it to 0 at the end. And this is the graph that I used for that. This is just the graph that I like the most. You can use any graph that you prefer. I just find it makes it flip a lot faster. And I didn't change the axis or pivot or anything, I just keyframed angle. Now what I did is I went to zoom in, and I zoomed it in. So I added 2 keyframes, one at the beginning and one at the end. And on the first keyframe, I zoomed the photo in like this, so it's kind of coming out. Now, this might look a little tacky, like, ooh, that does not look great. Well, that's because you have to add on an opacity fade. So go to the clip that you've been working on, and then go to blending and opacity. Add 1 keyframe, turn it all the way down to 0, move a few frames forward, add another keyframe, and turn it all the way back up to 100. So this is what it should look like when you're finished. I really like the look of this, especially if you make the flip go fast enough. And adding on some directional blur might actually make it look a little bit better, so it looks like the flip has blur on it itself. But yeah. And yeah, that was it for today's video. If you guys enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and comment down below any tutorial requests that you guys may have. And I hope you all have a great rest of your summer. And yeah, I love you guys. Bye!